This weekend, the eyes of every European League fan were on Rekkles as he stormed the Rift with his new team and blew away the competition, picking up a KDA of 47 in 3 games, dying only once, and grabbing 40% of G2's kills. Meanwhile, his old team, Fnatic, struggled in the kickoff of their own post-Rekkles era.
That fight looked promising for Fnatic, but unfortunately for them, it was not enough.
The biggest storyline for the start of Fnatic's year is obviously whether or not Upset can be a worthy replacement for Rekkles. Based on 2020 LEC stats, there's some reason for optimism. Upset rivaled or exceeded Rekkles in some important categories. But no matter how good your stats are, you can't just come in and replace Rekkles. And one of the biggest reasons for that is Rekkles' massive experience advantage. Upset is hardly a fresh-faced rookie, but he almost looks that way compared to Rekkles, who has played more than twice as many games as a pro, and on almost twice as many patches. Some of Rekkles' games happened so long ago that we don't even have reliable data about which patch they were played on.
Setting up with the current car getting lower. Whoa, Rekkles stole it! No! What?
Rekkles has experience playing more champions, though Upset's total of 26 champions played at least once is close to Rekkles' 29. When you filter down to only show champions they've played 10 or more times, the gap between them gets a little larger. Rekkles can be put in a position like his game against Mad Lions last week, where 7 AD carries had been picked or banned away from him, and he can still fall back on a somewhat out-of-meta champion like Sivir, which is his most played champion of all time at 73 games with a 64% win rate, by the way, and put up a 909 scoreline. You can see the gap between the two players' experience levels even more clearly when you count the number of different champion pairings they've played in professionally. Upset has hit the Rift with over 100 different bot lane champion pairings, but Rekkles' count is 238. And when you look at the full bot lane matchup, Rekkles has seen almost 3 times as many unique 2v2s. Upset is never going to catch up to Rekkles in experience, but that doesn't mean he can't rival Rekkles' performance. Experience is incredibly valuable, but it isn't everything. Upset performed very well statistically in the LEC in 2020 as part of Origin. He finished 2nd in KDA behind Rekkles, 2nd in kill participation behind Patrick, and 1st in damage per minute. He averaged small leads coming out of the lane phase, finishing 1 spot behind Rekkles in GXD10. In some ways, Upset had a very similar statistical profile to Rekkles in 2020, with both players having high involvement, measured by their kill participation, and the 2 lowest death shares in the league in their role, showing safety in their positioning. From another angle, Rekkles and Upset had very different styles in 2020. While both were very involved in their team's play, Upset took a much more front and center role in soaking up gold and converting it into damage output, while Rekkles allowed his teammates to pick up more of the farm. We're looking at you, Selfmade, and dealt about 120 less damage per minute than Upset. Those damage numbers translated into 30.8% damage share for Upset and 24.7% damage share for Rekkles, by the way. There's a bit of a gotcha in these 2020 numbers, though. Rekkles played 2 games on Soraka and 16 games on Senna, and that dragged his farm numbers down a bit, though he usually played a farming Senna, not a fasting Senna. Those nuances in his champion pool affected his damage output a little, but not nearly enough to explain the gap between him and Upset. Despite those 2020 stats, there's no doubt that Rekkles can deliver great results when he's asked to soak as much CS as possible and be the primary carry. He showed that in Week 1 when he picked up a CSPM over 10 and led the league in DPM. But he can also play Soraka or Janna when he wants to throw a curveball. He's famously brought out bot lane Kennen in the past, and he's got so much experience of different matchups and metas that you never have to worry about him being surprised by a brand new scenario. Upset and Rekkles are scheduled to face off in Week 3, and it's going to be a great matchup to watch, as G2 versus Fnatic always is. Upset is a really good player in his own right, and a very solid piece of Fnatic's current lineup. But if he ever wants to truly rival Rekkles, he's got a long way to go.
It's officially 2021. And I haven't had my hair cut in a long time, so I'm starting to get kind of this like emo thing going on here. Do you think I could pull this off? Here we go. You know, I'm so emo wait, there. I'm just feeling so emotional lately over the fact that you haven't checked out alienware.com/Travis and used Travis TEDoff Q4 in the description below to check out awesome Alienware stuff. Like this Area 51M. That took longer than I was hoping it would to pull this into the shot. Like this Area 51M, which is an amazing piece of hardware. Kobe was using this this past holiday break to play some video games, some World of Warcraft. on his holiday break. Whatever. This video is going on too long. Anyway, check out the description below.